How's it going, everyone? It is Thursday, October 24th, 2024. Let's take a look at the pick from the last video, which was BMY. So my instructions for BMY were kind of wait for a pullback. If it shows relative strength during a market dip, that is your time to get long. And that's actually what happened, but it turned out that the trade didn't really end up working out in our favor. So here is the relative strength here during the market dip. So market declined a little bit from, let's call it 1230 to about 130. So here's market at 12, here's BMY at 1230, and then about 30 minutes later, market's at the relative low near VWAP. This stock is at the high of the day. So really nice setup. I took it here on this break of the high minus trend line. So you can see we had a leg up, pull back, leg up, pull back, leg up, pull back, and I thought we could get another last move for the rest of the day. But market found some support. This stock started to hit some resistance. So the first thing that caught me on my radar was this high volume bearish candle. That told me to be really careful. And I needed to see that quickly erased. This stock then kind of paused for a couple of bars, and then we got the breakdown through this low, which I was leaning on. So you can see that on this stair-step price action, we break above this new high, we come back and retest it right here. And I need a, for some reason, my crosshair thickness is always off. So test this level right here, breakout, here's our high, breakout to this high, come back, and we test this high right here. And so I was leading on this relative low as my support. So we broke through here, and then on this green candle, I actually managed to take a pretty decent loss. So I got in at maybe 54.49, and I got out at about 54.15. So about a 35-cent loss on this stock, which has an ATR of 125. So about the 1-to-1 risk reward. If I had won, then I actually would have probably taken 35-cent profit. So happens. I think the important thing that I liked is that I took a good loss on this stock. You can see decline for the rest of the day. Ended up going down another 50 cents for my entry. So I'm glad I took a good loss when I needed to, and I was decisive with my exit. I knew what I wanted to see. I got it, and it just didn't end up materializing. That just happens from time to time. The one swing open we have is WBA. After popping up, this stock is coming back down, hitting a little bit of support today, but so far has been declining. While the market's been flat, the stock has been declining. So still kind of waiting this one out. I have an alert set at the low of the day, so I'll kind of know. I usually bracket these on the low and the high of the day with the end of day alerts, and I can quickly kind of see, okay, is it actually making some sort of meaningful move for the day? So let's get into what the market is doing. Now, today, long-term, fundamentally, technically, again, nothing has really changed. When we're in this compression, our longer-term bias doesn't really change too much. The only thing that does change is that I was a little bit more bullish in the shorter term, and I'm a little bit less bullish now because we've had this compression. We had the breakout. We tested this level, which was fine. And then this candle really needed to be a test, and we needed to start to inch up on the 27th to 30th on the 1st. This had to be some move up higher, right? If you look at very strong rallies from, if I go back earlier in the year, right, we get the breakout. We might pause for a little bit, and then we move up higher, pause for a little bit, move up higher. We get a little bit of a dip. Here's the breakout, right? So here's a pretty similar pattern where we get a dip, so we get this double bottom, lower high, breakout, and then we get this immediate follow through for a couple of days. That's what we wanted to see, and we didn't quite get that. Oh man, that was quite a long time ago, wasn't it? So these blue lines are intraday, by the way, so we can kind of ignore them. I know they get, let's load up the chart a little bit here. So we're in this kind of wide compression, and when the market's kind of going sideways, I pared back on any meaningful swing trades. I've done a couple of experimental ones just because I'm always trying out new ideas, but for the most part, I am pretty much on the sidelines. I have been doing some day trades, but also keeping that pretty light. There's just not a lot of probability in this compression, so you got to pick your spots carefully. I would look for just very strong stocks, good volume, good price action. Um, that's been really sort of the name of the game. On some swing trades, I'll give an example. Finding setups where we are breaking through some support, some resistance. So something like VST, for example. Right. So this stock, very strong D1 price action, has a ton of momentum. So I'm in and then I'm out the next day. You can see that this is a pretty nice stock, although not really doing a whole lot today. In my opinion, it had a nice move early in the morning. It looks like it might pitter patter out. You see these long red candles, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. So something like that, that's a potentially, you can take a short term trade like a CDS on that, and size that pretty well. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on something like the short side. NU was a nice little pick here. So this is kind of a more reversal setup. We have a double top on the D1, getting through the AVWAP E, getting through the horizontal resistance and the 50 SMA. So that's a nice term. It's kind of more of a reversal setup. So those are some of the swing trading patterns that I'm seeing. And if I look at some of the swings that I'm eyeing, we can see just really want to trade some powerful D1 patterns. CVS could potentially be one of them here, as it is trying to break out from this level. So this is another sort of reversal pattern where we're in this, we've gapped down, we've kind of established this long base over a couple of months, and now we're trying to break out over that base. So that's one to watch out for. And then we have the 200-day SMA, so that might provide some overhead resistance. PLTR is another good one today. You can see, again, strong stock pulled back, and now it's breaking out of compression on a dead day. So we might get a little bit more follow through on that kind of stock. So, I mean, that's one that I would trade. But yeah, I mean, other than that, keep it pretty light. So that's what's happening on a shorter term basis. If we zoom out a little bit, here's our gap up. We've been in this weak sort of downtrend, this wide bearish channel, which means we've got tall bounces, not a lot of moves to the downside. We get a breakdown, and then the move stalls and reverses. So you kind of have to be one step ahead. It does favor sort of not the contra trend trading, but you can find relatively weak stocks on this bounce because you know that it's going to fail. We're going to roll over and probably test the downside of that compression. So that's kind of the setup you want to look for when the market's moving down. That's when you want to find relatively strong stocks. When the market's moving up, find your relatively weak stocks, and then take gains, ideally short when the market's at the top of the compression, and take profits when it's the bottom compression, and then flip the side. So that's how I'm playing it on a day trading or even a swing trading basis. Now, on a day trading basis, this blue line looks at the established range that we're in. So we're in this, generally speaking, we've been in this horizontal range for the past couple of days, couple of poke outs, couple of breakdowns. You can change how you want to draw it. If you want to draw it like here, there's also the top here, but I consider that more of a failed breakout of the range. You can look at kind of the touches here. So I think that's a pretty decently valid range here between, let's call it 566 and 570. So $4, very narrow range on SPY. David mentioned in the one option chat, we're compressing between the 8 EMA and the 15 EMA. So I actually don't personally use the 15 EMA, but another kind of technical thing to look out for to explain what's going on. But just some low volume garbage. And it's not actually super low volume. There was actually a ton of high volume on, this was the first after the window dressing, after ISM. Here's ISM over here. We got a big snapback to the range. We got some reaction to ISM services. So there is actually like a decently high volume compression. And I think whichever way we break, it's going to produce a pretty nice sustained move because of all these buyers and sellers just fighting it out over here. So the longer and tighter the compression is going to be, the more likely we're going to have a nice breakout. I'm not sure which if we're going to break out or break down. The unemployment report tomorrow potentially could be a catalyst, so that's something to watch out for. Um, yeah, I mean, this favors pretty much being pretty passive, and you may not have to take a trade for a couple of days. Just waiting out. So, I mean, on your P&L calendar, this should be looking like small wins or zeros. That's what you want to get. Just avoid, making too many trades, right? You want to really find those nice, strong, heavy stocks. So, take a look at the price action today. This is probably one of the first days in a long time that I can remember where I just have complete zero market conviction. Like, this is just utter trash. It's going nowhere. At least yesterday, right? We had a pullback, we had a little bit of a trend. You can see that there's a little bit more organization. I mean, it's still not great, right? It's not like a move like this. Even this, like at least there's some organization to these moves. You can get. It's a weak trend, but it is a trend nonetheless. We are kind of moving in a direction. We have a kind of an overreaction, quote unquote, to this gap. So this is weaker price action, but there's still some directionality. Here obviously we had some directionality, and then we kind of formed a bottom and then snap back up. Even here, right, we had this move up, pulled back, and then we got another move up, and we fizzled out. But here it's really, I mean, this is just complete utter chop, right? This is just red, long green, long red, long green. A lot of volatility, no net movement. Someone's going to win out, but I did not really feel comfortable taking any longs in that sort of environment, or any shorts, rather. So really just any trades that were directional. Okay, so market confidence for today is a big fat zero. So what can we trade? What can possibly look good? So a couple of trades that have caught my eye. PLTR is one of them. Potentially could be the trade of the day. Maybe you could get it on a pullback, although I'm not sure how much I would take it there. KMI is a nice setup. And I'll show you this pattern here. So we got a nice reversal pattern. So here's the pattern to watch out for. We got a strong break, good volume on the stock through some. This is actually a pretty major D1 level. If I zoom out to the monthly chart, you can see that this level right here, right, Feb 2020 high 2258. We kind of cleared that pretty easily, considering that the market has been doing absolutely nothing. I'm not sure what kind of stock this is. Oh, it's an oil stock. That's why. Oil is doing something here. So we got a little bit of a pullback earlier in the day. We broke through the high of the day, so this is that entry point. I actually took this on one share. I didn't take it with any size because I'm still experimenting with this. But from here, the stock has been rallying, generally speaking, higher and higher. So that was one nice trade. You can see the volume has also started to come in after this candle, and it has continued on a nice little path. I mentioned VST earlier. Again, we're just looking for strong D1 charts, right? So strong D1 charts that are actually moving on some volume. On the short side here, I think BIB was a nice one. You can see that the stock pretty weak on a D1 basis. There's good volume coming in. And we've pulled back here to VWAP, so break through this trend line, maybe get a M5 sell signal. That could be a nice little pullback, but what I'm really looking for is some organized price action, some sort of good movement here. So this is a search I have. It's called bear volume, and if I look at this search, and if I open up the criteria for the search, here's the main thing: looking for stocks that are weak on the daily, weak intraday, and they have high volume. So that helps. That's a search I use pretty often on these LPTE days to try to help me find good stocks. Let's look at something like ACHC here. See if there's any volume. This is kind of a weird stock. So you can see there's not a ton on the bearish side here. And if I look at the bullish side, let's see here. VET. Okay, let's take a look at VET. Breaking out a little bit over here. So this is a bit of that reversal pattern. Same thing. So we got a double bottom. We've broken through a downward sloping trend line. We're through the 50 SMA, and we're kind of attacking some of these relative highs right around here. So I don't think we've quite broken that level, but we are very close. But you can see the price action, a little gappy, a little choppy, not super ideal. ACN, not bad, although it has to get through this earnings candle. High of 364. We zoom in on this chart, you can see it's very clearly just reacting to that level. Has to get through that. But set an alert at the high of the day, see if it can do something. So that's kind of the process. Now, on a day like this, you can see there's not a lot of stocks that fit the criteria, which should already be a warning sign. That there's not a lot of stocks with good D1s that are moving. So if you want, you could always sort of expand. Oh, actually, this is actually a very different search than my other search. I could actually expand. I could mess around with the search parameters a little bit, see if there's anything that comes into play. NVAX is something that's coming up here. I could maybe take off some of the trade signals, see how that comes up. PCAR is coming up over here. And there you go. It's a nice trade signal there. So you can mess around with these parameters. That's actually a really nice breakout on. Look at that. There's a really nice breakout on PCAR. Boom, 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 boom. Testing. So this actually could be your long pick of the day. Oh, hold up. Don't jump the gun. This is why I always check the TA. We got this high volume candle, earnings gap coming in. It is reacting to this earnings gap right here. A high of 102.56. And, well, would you look at that? We pretty much hit that square on the nose. So you had to get in here, and then you could ride that up for maybe $1 or so. Well, if we can get through that, we could be in business potentially for a day trade, but it's already made such a big move earlier today. May not be as likely. I'm going to do one more search here on this bear volume search. And let's just do... Okay. Let's see what comes up here. SMTC. Let's check out SMTC. Okay. It's reversing here. A couple of other, I'll just point out some other little reversal patterns that I saw today. So Rocket is one kind of example where breaking through that 50 SMA, volume is pretty decent. Right, this is a nice little LRSI pullback potentially. Get in on the low of the day. So I'd probably short it right here. Maybe right here, 819, and you have some room to the low. TJX. It's a nice little another shorting opportunity. Bit of a choppier stock. Still has to confirm through that 50 SMA. But if it can get through that level, that is a good pick. Yeah. So I really don't have a great pick for today. See if there's any earnings time spreads I can get away with. Nope. Okay, well, if I had to give a pick, I am going to go with PLTR. We'll take that maybe as an overnight swing, I think. So we'll balance out one short, one long. I like the volume on here. I like the price action on the stock. I like the breakout on the D1, and we have some room to the upside. So that is going to be the pick for today. It was actually the first pick I saw today, but looks like I couldn't find anything that was really, really much better. So thanks for watching, everyone. We're going to take a look at how WBA and PLTR are doing. And we'll take a look at these picks tomorrow. Thanks for watching.